Morning everyone. So last night Chris nearly got it all covered. There's maybe like 5 hectares that he didn't get done, but that's all good. So this morning Henry has got, he said 177 hectares and then he is complete. So that would mean for us, because we seed a little bit more, so I'm going to say about 180 hectares for us on top of that 5, so let's just call it 185 hectares. And we will be into the wheat. Now, that means that we won't be transporting tonight because it's a big long day to do 185 hectares. That's okay, that doesn't matter. What I'm going to do is swing past the seeder. I need to see how many hectares he's done on his current lot of barley, because we're getting about, we'll call it 110-ish hectares on the barley. He would get to the 115. We're just pulling him up. Anyway, I'm gonna see how much he's done, because I want to see if he's got enough on board right now to finish. To finish with that plus a whole new load. Now, if he doesn't, I still got barley on board, and I think I might fill him with what I've got in the truck, and then do a whole full load. And then that will then get him to the end of the pack. What I don't want is to be driving down here with I don't know, 1 or 2 ton of barley just to fill him, or 500 kilos or even 100 kilos of barley just to fill him. So I'm trying to work out if I can do it with what I've got on board now, and just make my life a bit easier. This screen's got a handy feature, so normally we run it on that screen there so we can turn it off. Gives you your hectares and the target that you're going out. But if you click on it and you go to this one here, it's going to then tells you how many hectares with the rate that you're currently going you've got left. And you can see there that our bin 1 and bin 2 combined are basically 60 hectares. And we need 177 hectares to finish. So if we call it that we're only getting 100 typically off a fill, what is best to do is to swing this around to fill up now with what we've got, and hopefully that gets us from 60 up to 80, and then that would comfortably get us with a full next fill. And then because it'll be I'll fill it full, there'll still be a little bit left in there, and that'll mean that there'll be a fail safe for whatever happens down here, and we could always chuck some more in. So I reckon we'll do that. I'll start the tractor up, we'll flip it around, and we'll get this ready to do a fill. Or am I better to leave it and do a full fill next, and then whatever's left on board, then do that? That might be better. I'm gonna go have a look at what I got in the what I've got in the truck, because that way I'll reduce the amount of stuff that I need to empty out if I do it that way. I hope this all makes sense. It's making sense up here. Anyway, you can see Henry's behind me, so I need to get out of his way. He's going to go and finish up the spraying. I'll tell you what, it's going to be dicey. I'm going to fill this nice and full. So to do 20 hectares, which is what I'm planning to add in now or add in later, need 1.5 ton. That to me looks maybe about 1 ton. So if I fill this truck nice and full, then we've got the chance of me not having to come back down. Does this make sense to you guys? I hope I'm explaining it right. That's what I've got left in the truck now. I either put it in him now, fill up nice and full, come back down. I then fill him to then finish the paddock, but then I'll have this much left on board that I got to get out. So instead of doing that, I go and fill it now, and then fill this up nice and full, then come back down. When I come back down, I fill him full. There should hopefully be a little bit more left than this in here, and then fill him with that to finish off the paddock, and then that should hopefully finish the paddock. But there's always the risk that, that doesn't finish off the paddock, and then I've got to go and get an extra, 500 kilos or a ton. But I hope I've explained that well. we're going to go and just fill the truck and have it so it's full, ready to go. And we'll just play it that way. We'll see if that works. Got a very nice full load on board, so I'm hoping that I don't need to come back and fill up with any barley or liquid or fert. So that's just going to be a wait and see. So obviously we need to fix this chute here. So quite simply just undo that bracket, put it back on, tighten it up. While we're there, we'll see if I can find any small D-shackles maybe that can go on this to small this up. And then you guys might be wondering, how do I get all the barley out of here, that if we do have barley left in. So I undo this chute up here, and then that just slides off that way. I have got these churn shaw made up, so that just slides on, goes onto there, and then you can see I've got the clip parts there for the spouts. So I just take one of the spouts off like I've got right now, hook it onto there, and then I can drop that into a hopper, and then we can load whatever barley is left in this back into that silo. That's all done. Now I'm just out in the paddock. I have got the tape measure there, and I'm wanting to go over the bar and measure it up. I'll show you why. And it's something I've been meaning to do, but I keep forgetting. It's one of those things that you, just like the spout on top of the Earnshaw there, I keep forgetting to get something shorter for it. And it's only when you're using it, you go, that's right, I needed to do that. We've got a gap, like a 2-foot gap on one side of the bar. And it's always something when I see it, I'm like, oh, I've got to figure that out. And then I have to go and move the truck or do something, and I always forget, or I'm always, oh, yep, no, got to go. Anyway, I've got the thing now, and I'm going to go and measure the bar, because I reckon there's an offset on there somehow, because something is up. And it was on it yesterday when I was going through the canola and the barley. I saw it, and I've got it just here. Here is one run, here is the other, and right there is the gap in between. Now that gap there is about 2 foot, and that is not ideal at all, because that is just going to grow weeds. Now in the canola, not so bad. In the barley, even then isn't too bad, because barley's biomass is so large that it'll, it should take over the that middle run. But when we get into the wheat, there it is again. Hang on, let me reverse up. Just there. So see this gap here? See, when we get into the wheat is such a tall, thin plant that we're just going to have wheat, grass, wheat, and it's just going to continue like that. And because our chemical needs us to throw the soil on top of each other in the interfurrow to stop the grass from growing through. Here we don't have that soil throw, so we're not going to get the grass going. We're not going to get the grass to stop growing. It's just going to come straight through. So I'm going to pull up the seeder when it gets up here, and I want to measure the receiver on the bar to both ends, and just make sure that it is in the dead center. Now it should be, but then why am I getting this? Then I'm going to jump in the screen and just check in the screen what's going on in there, because shouldn't be happening at all. It should be just, everything should be central. So I need to figure out why it's doing it, and then John Deere need to sort it out, because that's it's nowhere near acceptable to have it like that. Just measured it up, and it's even both sides. There's no offsets in the screen. It's a 52 centimeter gap from tine to tine on each side. So it's basically in the middle of that, there should be another tine going straight through. So where we're seeing those gaps, there should be another tine there. So I'm waiting for Jake to call me back, because I called him and no answer, so I sent him a text message. But I think after measuring that, I think I know what's wrong. This bar is not as big as what they say. I'll have to confirm that, but so we're 24.4 meters on this bar. That's our track spacing. We're 12.2 meters, and we're with the header, and we're 36.6 on the spreader, and 48.8 on the boom spray. Now that's to fit in with the American foot, so that's what are we? 40 foot, 80 foot, 36 foot, and 160 foot. I went for that style when I set up my controlled traffic because I hate overlap. So, you know, if I went for the Australian of just going straight to 12 metres, 24 metres, 36 metres, and 48 metres, you end up with all this overlap. No, not so bad, I suppose, with the boom spray. It's got individual nozzle control, so it would turn it off when you're going over. The spreader wouldn't, so you'd overspread that tiny bit. The headers are the worst because as you're harvesting, you've got a 20 centimetre gap on one side of your front. That would just do my head in, not having a full cut the whole time. It just wouldn't look right, wouldn't feel right. And then the seeder would always overlap another tine into the previous run that it did. So it's not like, that's not what I wanted to do. So I set it up how, you know, the American width way, but in meters. And then measuring that now I'd have to go and remeasure it just to triple check and confirm. But I believe that is actually just a 24 meter bar, not a 24.4. It was just, actually it might even be under, because it was just under 12 on one side and just, well, it's hard to, because where we were measuring. Okay. But I think that's 24 meters, not 24.4, which is 80 foot, which is what that bar is. It's an 80 foot bar from America, so it should be 24.4 meters. Now in the screen it says it's 24.38 meters wide, which is fine. That would fit into our, you know, our thing just fine with our 24.4. That would have no issues. You wouldn't end up with this gap wouldn't be showing with a 24.38 if that's what the tines were. But us at 24, and we're and it's actually a 24, and it's 52 centimeters, so it's 25 centimeters, you know, to the, that'd be about right. I think this bar is smaller than what it says it is, and that's my issue. Now, I don't know how you can fix that because the tines can't get any further out. They are as far out as they go. Don't know what I'm going to do there. Just had a phone call with Jake, and I honestly can't remember the dimensions that I was saying to you guys, but math and me don't always get along. So if you guys are playing along, I might have got that horribly wrong with how off we could be. Now, anyway, what we're going to do is when he gets up here, we're going to now measure from tine to tine, outer tine to outer tine, and we will just see what it is and just make sure that that's going to be okay. And then we can get that's our working width. So then we can go off that and make sure if that matches what's in the screen. Now, the other thing we're going to do is, so he'll come in, we'll measure it. Then I'm going to get him to flip around and then just go straight back onto it, drop the tines back in to the exact same run he was on. And that's how you can figure out if you got an offset or not. Because if they are not in the exact same spots that they came out of, so going one way, the tines should also be going in the exact same spot going the other way. If they're not, there's an offset somewhere, and it's the quickest way to figure it out. So we'll do that, and we'll find out. Now, after that, we probably need to fill him. Just did a measure, tine to tine. It was 78.7 feet, or 23.9 meters, or 8 meters. I'll have to check again. I've got a photo of it. Anyway, as you can see, he's spinning around now, and this is a perfect one to do it on because there's no run to his right, there's no run to his left. He's going to pull up perfectly straight on his run line, and then we're going to just drop the tines back down in the ground. If they don't line up, then I know I've got an issue somewhere. If they do line up, then I'm going to have to reevaluate my controlled traffic and where I put everything, because or somehow build an extension on there and move all the tines just a tiny little bit. I don't know. We'll get to that. All right. Just looking at that, we do have an offset. That's not going in exactly where that is meant to be. So let's have a look. This tine here has not gone in central. So we are, I'd say, only a couple centimeters off. but still off. We'll go have a look at the other side. And as we're going along, you can see that all the tines they are just slightly off. So we'll see what our other side's like. And you can see here, there's definitely an offset. Look how far out we are. That is the center, and that is where the tine is. So there is an offset somewhere. Right, so we'll send those figures through to Jake, and then they can yeah, figure out what's going on, what we need to do. And yeah, I know what you're probably going to say. Shouldn't I have done this as soon as I saw it? And you know, you're right, I should have. But every single time I was like, oh, I need to do that. I was always doing something, and you just forget. Like I explained before with the chute on top of the Earnshaw auger, you just forget. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Also, me and math and words and numbers, I think I said 39 meters to you guys, or 20. Anyway, or it might have even been, I can't even remember. Obviously, I'm pretty sure I said the wrong number to you. It was 23.9. It's about, yeah, 4 or 5, somewhere around there, meters wide. But I think I might have said like 39 or 29 or something like that. So just putting that out. If I got it wrong, that's, yeah. So John Deere are going to make some calls and find out what to do. We're just doing another TCM calibration, so terrain compensation module. What you do is you pull up nice and straight, you mark on the ground exactly where that receiver is. You then need to turn around and then get nice and straight and stop exactly where your mark was, calibrate it, and then it calibrates its terrain compensation module. So I don't know, something to do with hills and stuff, I think. Anyway, we're doing that even though we did that last week, but we're doing it again, and then we'll send him seeding again, and yeah, we'll see what they come up with after that. And he's only got, so he's going up, he's got another one to go, so he'll go up, back, and we'll fill. And then yeah, hopefully, then we'll do that last little fill before he heads out into the back piece, and then that will have him sorted for the day. Yep. Just go, use your clutch, go gear 1 and just inch forward just a tiny bit. See how that tine is there? That's what it should be like. It should be perfectly like that. Why it's not like that, normally I don't know. I think if I drive across the paddock, some are close and perfect like that, and some are, you know, that big gap. So, I don't know, honestly, I don't know. When he was lined up going this way, we had it perfect. Now, he's on the auto steer. I mean, he wasn't on auto steer. I don't know. Why has it got that gap there now? But look at the gap. That's, you know, one very precise measure. That's 2 hands. You know, it shouldn't be like that. Also, that squeaking you're hearing, and you're probably going, geez, what's going on there? That's the brakes. That's perfectly normal. There's a sticker on the axle at the back there that says squeaking is normal, ignore. Why squeaking is normal, I don't know. Squeaking shouldn't be normal, but it is. But let's have a look. So that one, there's a big gap there. Let's have a look at what we've got. So that's the center, And now we're coming up to the outer. So yeah, you've still got the gap. See that? That is that 2 foot gap. Well, 2 hand, whatever. That's the gap. There should be a bloody tine in the middle of that. So this is where I'm completely lost. You've got the tractor sitting on the tram, exactly where we should be, going up and back, so it's sitting where it should be. Well, at least the bar is anyway. The bar is sitting in the middle. And then we're getting that gap on both sides. So to me, that just makes me think that the bar is too small and the bar needs to be physically wider. It's not as wide as what it is saying in the screen, and it's not as wide as what it should be. So that to me is what's going on. That we somehow need to extend the width of the bar. But I don't know, who knows? We might, there might be some solution, but I physically don't know what it would be when you've got a gap both sides and you're in the center. And look at that, as we're here filling, it's germinated and it'll be sprouting very shortly. That's pretty cool. Well, I've jumped on the cedar for just a couple passes. Chris has had to duck back to the shed, so finally get some more action on the cedar. So we're ready when the time comes to pick up this new roller. We're just getting the bearing off of that. We need to get it off of this as well. Need to give that one a clean up as well. And then that way we can put the new bearings onto that little roller that Henry's on now. So that one's all ready to go. And then obviously we'll get the new basket, new roller, whatever they call it. We can chuck the bearings onto there and it's just all good to go. And then the sensor, it's a whole bloody thing that's got to plug into something, well, splice into something by the look of it. Yep, I reckon that goes into the box at the front there, but we'll figure that one out. Alright, so obviously got that off. It fell on the ground when it released. It was quite intense. Took a long time. Now I know you guys are probably going to comment on my bearing pullers and that tiny little handle on the top. It's not the size, it's how you use it. But I'd agree with you guys. I need a different bearing puller. Something with some more oomph on the top would be nice. Henry's out there cleaning up all the bearing housings so I can just chuck new bearings in. They all came out surprisingly easy from their housings. So you can see I've got a bit of grease on me now. That thing there's got to weigh at least 40 kilos. That was not fun getting that off of there. 40, 50, I don't know. It's heavy. But this is the sensor that busted on me. So that one right there. So you can see obviously the wires poking out. I should have just cut it back here and then done a joiner. But anyway, apparently you can just, and it should come out. But if you guys can see, there's already like grip marks on it. So this has already been taken out before. So he said, just take this plate off and pull this out and then give that a nice clean up. That'll all be rusty. That's why it's stuck in there. So okay, cool. Righto, well that'll solve the problem for next time. But now I've got to try and get this bloody sensor out. So if you have a look over here, that is the sensor. So it's just obviously it's a magnet in there, but that is it. So I'll try to put some grips on and see if I can just pull her out, but I really don't like my chances. I'm not too sure how we'll get it out, but we got to get it out. Might end up taking it out, taking that plate off, pulling the plate out and just throwing some CRC in there or something like that just to clean it up and make it come out a bit easier. Surprisingly, I am able to turn it, which, well, there we go, I can turn it. Which you can see, it is moving this, which makes you think that is really close to it. I can't really pull it out, so I'm going to take this off, pull this out so I can see it from the top, and see how we go from there. I have got the, I pulled out the it's not really a cog, let's just call it a drive plate. We're finding a lot more badness. Let's just put it that way. So it's pretty rusted in itself. You can see it's pretty bad and rusty. That there, I'll put the light on it. Those there are what are the timings, so that will trigger the magnet, which is in here, as you can probably see. Now the bad thing in here is you can see just how rusted this plate is. Now I don't understand how it's got so rusty, because it's sealed from the outside. So obviously somehow something's got in there, but I just had to change my hand. Look at this bearing in here. That bearing in there looks absolutely toast, like it's just caked full of stuff. So I'm just waiting to hear back from Jono on how hard it is, or what sort of bearing that is. Inside the cog, all in there, I mean that's all, you know, got oil in there and lives in an oil bath. So that should be fine, and it looks fine. But this whole assembly here is horrible. So I'm thinking we're gonna just, 1, 2, take it off and we'll clean it somehow. And yeah, try and get all this gunk out, because like, look at that. And then you can see my fingerprint from it there. So it's just not good. Okay, see all that chunk of crap in there? It's no wonder that this bearing in here is toast. Look at that. This bearing is going to get replaced. We cannot leave it like that. In good conscience, just no. Alright, so since that last clip, we've taken the circlip out and we've tried to get that bearing out. It's just a circlip and you should be able to just pop it right out. Now, not so much. You need a slide hammer or, you know, sort of bearing pullers that you can get in there. We don't have any of that. I had to go and pick up this wrap bag here, and now I've just gone over to Will's. They had a slide hammer, so we'll give that a go. But I've also got Jake, who's nearly out at the paddock now, to be out here and help us try and just fix this gap issue that we're getting. So we'll quickly duck down to the shed here and just see if we can pop this thing out, and if it's going to work, it should, and then yeah, we'll shoot down to the paddock, see if we can fix this issue we're getting. And also we might do a fill now as well, because he'll fit the rest of the barley in, and then we'll know if he's going to finish it on that tank or not, which he should do. But if he doesn't, then we will just need to come back and top up with a little bit of barley. So the issue we're having is the bearing is obviously in there, and we can't pull it out. So the advantage is with a slide hammer is that we can get in there and whack it out. So we'll see how we go. Slide hammer has these, which I should be able to. Oh no! Damn it. This bearing is too. Oh, hang on. No? Alright. We've got it in there. Now, let's see how we go. Oh, trying to get this bearing out. Alright, that looks like it might work. We'll just see how we go. We're just going to have to just play around with getting it in there. The bearing is slightly too small for him, but we'll see if it works. Henry's out now with Luke, so he'll be able to have a go at that when he gets back. So we will head down now, because Jake is out in the paddock, and we'll go and see if we can get that thing sorted out there, and then after that fill him, then after that come back and yeah, we'll see if we had success, or if we can have success. Rightio, so Jake is in front of us, as you can see there, and we've just had a pretty decent look over the bar, and basically what they're going to do is tomorrow, hopefully a couple of the guys are going to come out and we'll move a whole bunch of things. So I've noticed from day dot that our row spacings haven't been perfect, and when I look at the bar I can see why. It's because they hit, or they've run out of space on where they are, but because that's inconsistent, they haven't measured it correctly going across from centre, because you start at the centre and work your way out. And what's happened is they've done those so some are slightly smaller and some are quite a bit shorter than what they should be, and it's basically put us out at the ends by about 15 centimetres each side. Because it's a bolt together frame, they should be able to just loosen off the U-bolts and push the big bar sideways, and then you can adjust your tines on that to get us the reach out wider. I was a bit worried. I was like, well, how can we get wider when it physically can't? We're already at our physical width. And then Jake obviously pointed out the obvious. No, you just undo those, slide the bar, and it comes out. So yeah, I guess it wasn't PD'd correctly, because I mean, I should have mentioned that the row spacings aren't even to begin with, but when I was looking at the bar, I was like, oh, they physically can't get them there because of such and such, just physically couldn't. But yeah, anyway, that's the issue. The issue has got a solution, and hopefully that solution will happen tomorrow. Now, when we finish barley, which may not be today now, we'll just see, hopefully it is tonight. The plan is to get this bar back to the shed where we will do clean out. My then plan was to then jack up the bar. I want to check all the wheel bearings and everything. We've gone through a lot of mud. The casters have gone sideways in a lot, and I know that these are Chinese bearings in the in those hubs there. So I just want to make sure that they are all good. So we're going to do that. So that's going to slow us down. And then Jake was like, brilliant, can we bring the guys out and do that tomorrow? So they're going to come out tomorrow. So if we don't get into seeding week tomorrow, I'm not going to be too upset, because like I said, barley will compensate with its biomass with these weedy areas now. Canola, it won't matter, but wheat is the one that's going to suffer, because wheat is just a thin weedly plant that goes up and doesn't grow out, and those sections there that haven't been covered will just absolutely grow weeds. So yeah, if we can get it fixed going into the wheat, I'll be a happy man, even if it delays me a day. I won't be worried. Tell you what, she's a tough life. So we'll have enough fert and enough barley to finish this paddock. I thought we had enough. I brewed that liquid up more than what I've been doing to make sure we had enough, and we're going to fall short by about 8 hectares, 9 hectares, something like that. So our current rate's 94, so I think we're going to change it. We're going to drop it to 85 litres, just so that we can finish and we don't need to bring damn liquid just out to the paddock. Yeah, annoying, but what can you do? So if we could all go back in time to this morning and just tell past John. So John, go and load the seeder now like you're planning. That's the better option. We're not only short on the liquid, we are short on the barley by about 10 hectares. So we're going to have to fill the truck back up with barley, fill it up with a bit of liquid too, and then we'll come back out and we'll fill it. So it's very much a pain in the bum that this has happened. I took the gamble, and the gamble didn't pay off. I put it on black and it came up red. So yeah, we'll go and we'll fill it back up. I'll get Cal to then come out, and he can then to the truck and fill in when he's going to go and do the back piece. So we've got time. He's got 60 hectares on board. It should be around 70 hectares he needs to do. But the way that the seeder goes, it could be more like 80 hectares. So anyway, we'll go back, we'll fill this up, and then I'll get Carl to bring it out, and he can load the seeder when he's out here once he's out of the back piece. It's very hard to judge how much barley is going into there. So I've gone, I believe, more than what should be in there. So I guess I'll figure it out and find out when I fill. I think I've put in maybe about 2 tonne. I should only need about 1,500 kilos. So we'll just see what happens with that one. Now we've made a game plan with everyone. If he finishes that back piece by 7, Cal will come down and fill him. But it's 5:30 now, and there's no chance of him finishing that back piece, I don't think. Look, we've got some residents here. I don't think there's any chance of him finishing that back piece. It's 35 hectares, and it's a really small, on an angle, really bad to turn on. So he's going to lose a lot of time at turning. He is doing 3 headlands just to make it easier. So we'll see what happens. My guess is he won't make it out there before 7, and then there's no point filling, because in the 2 hours he won't finish emptying that bin anyway. So we'll do that. He'll go and basically we'll fill him in the morning, go seeding in the morning, finish that paddock, transport up here. Henry's been out with the agronomist. We've got a double knock we need to perform on this paddock, plus one out the back. We also need to get out and do the insects in I think it was Rosheen A. It's getting smashed by the weevils, and also the slaters, because we haven't been out there to bloody spread for slaters. So just got to go and do that. But then that apparently we need to do it at night time, because that's when they're active. Which is very hard because you haven't got any wind come night time. But anyway, we'll make it all work. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. I've got to get this child home, so don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we'll catch you in the next one.